How's it going, guys? So I've already done the frog and the anole. I figured I'd just make this video. Um, just kind of help keep me awake. Music's getting kind of boring, kind of falling asleep. So this is my walkthrough. I start off with a simple image that I have imported from the project folder. In this case, it's just, this is the Gecko. I'm actually going to just start duplicating a lot of this stuff. So this is going to be the head. I'll make sure this is set to 2, and I have my pen tool. And I'm just going to start drawing out the head. Now, before I get too far into this, one thing I do want to make note is that this bottom jaw is actually connected to the body. Although it's not really important right now, it will be important later on. So right now I actually need to make the decision, is his mouth going to open or not? And the reason why that could be important later on is because if his mouth opens, then I'll actually need a lower jaw layer. In this case, I'm not going to do it. He'll show teeth, but I'm not going to actually have him... Oh, that looks like crap. I'm not actually going to have it where his mouth opens. So I'm just going to kind of like come down here. There we go. Zoom in. Alright. Now I just need to add these spikes. Very easy to do. There we go. And then for the head, I'm just going to come down here. I'm just going to attach that right there. I know I'm not going all the way down, but, you know, it's okay. So I'm going to group both of these together. This will just be called head. And that needs to be up kind of high. So this one right here will be the outer arm right here. The outer arm will be the outermost layer. So I'm actually going to duplicate this and move it above head. And I'm going to duplicate it one more time. And Control G. This will be called arm front. And then in here, I actually need to duplicate both of these. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I'm going to have an upper arm and a lower arm, which will also include the hand. So this right here is going to be the outermost part. So this right here will be arm lower. And then these right here will be called arm upper. So I'm going to start with this layer. Normally I would be actually naming these, but I'm feeling kind of lazy. Alright. And also, because I'm the only one working in this file, that's why I'm not too terribly concerned about naming these. So real quickly, I'm actually going to have this curve in just a little bit right here, and the reason for that is because even though... I'm trying to think how to explain this. The arm will actually have a complete circle. And I want the arm to be able to rotate right here or around here at the pivot point, so this way it doesn't... I can't think of how to explain it. You'll just have to see it, what I'm talking about, whenever I'm done. So I'm going to add all the fingers. Come back around here, connect that. I'm going to set this to 1 so I can get some of these details in here. Then you come back to arm upper. No, I don't. So we're good there. So I can go ahead and collapse these. And then this one will be body. So I can go ahead and hit Control G. I can go ahead and call this body. Do it one more time. And the reason why I keep creating these layers, because this bottom one will actually be a collar layer. In fact, I'll show you this real quick. So we have the arm lower right here. And we have this collar. All I have to do is come in here and get a color palette, which luckily I already have the colors over here, so this will be really easy. I'm going to set my brush size to 4. And for this is the arm lower, so I need to come down here and just start painting like so. And that is the only reason for me having multiple layers. And actually arm upper needs to be above that, because whenever I color this arm in, I'm going to color it in right about here. Come back to arm lower. I'm going to actually turn that off. Okay, so that should be fine. Then all I need to do is just color this. And this will be a really long tutorial video. So while I'm creating these layers, I'm going to just keep talking about random things. Wrong layer. But I think it'll also be good to add it as a link to the game. This way, should anyone get curious on how we created the game, we'll have a link there that will kind of like help showcase that. And it just, it's just something that's kind of neat, I think, to have in a video game, where it's like you can show what processes you went through, kind of like a post-mortem, but like what processes you went to be able to get the end result that you got. I actually need to turn off the arm. So right here, I actually come in just a little bit. This will actually compensate for the chest. So I can actually add this definition in. Come here, add that definition. Come over here and add this definition. And then I can come down here and add just a little bit of definition right here for like abs. So I can go and turn this back to 2. Bring this down. And for the body, I normally include the hips. In this case, as a little skirt. So I'm going to do that. Now, if I was going to animate this, this would actually be its own separate layer. However, this is all going to be attached to the body, so I'm not really too concerned. I need to turn this off real quick so I can see what I am doing. There we go. Turn that back on. I'm sure some of you might be wondering, well, if you're going through all these steps, why didn't you just do this when you originally, threw the pitch? That's actually a very valid question. To answer that question, the reason why I didn't do it whenever I pitched this is because I wasn't sure if it'd get chosen. And I didn't want to spend a whole lot of time on my pitch by going through all these extra steps. And, well, that is why. So, valid question, but that is my response. So this will be leg front. Actually, I screwed up there, but that is okay. Completely okay. So this will be called leg, if I can type, leg upper, wait a minute, oh, oops, leg lower. Meh, close enough. Alright. So he's going to have kind of some weird legs, and the reason why, because his legs actually curve in and then create like these little feet. I am not going through all of that nonsense. I will just animate his feet, and I will call it a day. So he won't actually have any lower legs. He'll just have an upper leg, which is where the quadriceps will lie, and then they just combine into his feet. Because, physics something. So I'm not going to make this other leg because they are both identical. I can literally just duplicate the leg front, call it leg rear, and move it over here. So that's done. The very bottom layer, this is actually kind of an important layer. Arm, rear. This is the very last layer I always do because the arm rear is always the furthest back object. So it will get, it'll basically be hidden by everything. If this arm comes in front of it, if it goes behind his head, if his leg comes way up here to throw a super high kick or whatever, it will cover this arm. So that's why this arm is always the very, very last that I will do. So this will be called arm upper, arm lower, and we will start with the upper portion. So just like the other, I'm actually going to come in here. I'm going to create a full circle. Come in here and do that. Then I'll do this. I'm going to clean that up just a little bit more. Then come down here. There we go. Set this to 1. I'm actually going to turn off my reference image for the time being. Aha! See? I screwed up. There we go. Better. So let's see. He actually has muscle definition right here on his upper arm, so I'm going to go ahead and add that in real quick. Let me see. Okay. Awesome opossum. Now all I have to do is just start painting. So this is the upper arm. That is the wrong color. And I'm going to start painting. In fact, I really don't even need this layer on, so I'm actually going to turn that layer off for the time being. And I'm also going to collapse that. I'm going to turn off the body. This way I can see exactly what I am doing. I'm also going to change this size to 4, because this is just obnoxious. So there's the upper arm. I'm going to turn off the upper arm so I can make sure I paint everything in here. And all the students that are in my group, they know this, but if you're another student or you're someone else who is watching this, if you're wondering, I am literally doing all this by mouse. So if you're going to judge me, please don't judge too harshly. I have a feeling, and sometimes, not very often, but sometimes it does get a little hurt. So if I was going to do shading, I'd just come in here, add shading down here, maybe a little bit right there. Just, oh, that's actually lower arm. That's my bad. So I'm going to go ahead and do this real quick. Throw that in there, throw that in there. Some right there. And that's how I do shading. Very simple. Alright, so I think arm rear is done. So now we can start with the leg front. And I will expand this out. I will set this to Quattro. Or if you're Japanese, it's Shi. Okay, so then we come down here, leg lower. Paint this in real quick. And since I went ahead and did the shading on the arm, on the outer arm, or the rear arm, I'm going to do the same down here. So this is the lower leg. I'm going to click back on this. I'm going to go back to 2, dos, or ni, I want language. So I'm just adding a very light shadow layer right there. Come up to here. Just going to kind of like have a little bit of fun with that. There we go. Maybe a little bit down here because, you know, why not? It's too much. Because that was actually part of the other layer, so I need to come down here. I'm actually going to extend this layer. Oops. Extend this layer out just a little bit. So this way I can finish the shadows. If I can click on the right layer, that would really help out. There we go. And so leg front is done. Now we have the body. For the body, I actually need the front arm but I'm actually going to lower the opacity of it. So that's already set to 2. We are good to go. I'm just going to bring this down and have it connect in right there. Go ahead and hide that. I'm going to set this to, I'm actually going to set this one to 8. Ocho. If you're wondering what it is in Japanese, I believe it's, let's see, Sachi is 7, so Q. I believe it to be Q. I think. Aichi ni san shi go uroku sachi hachi. And then Kyo jo. That's what it was. Some definition down there. There. I'm just lightly clicking. I don't want to add too much shadows underneath of it because we already have some right here. And I do need some green over here though. Definitely need green. Okay. Now I'm not going to add any more definition over here just because it's going to be getting covered by the arm. No real need for it. I will, however, come over here. Click on that. Click right here. And the reason why I'm doing this, if you look over here, my little color palette, watch what happens whenever I paint in the thing, in the scene, you'll see it automatically adds that color, so all I have to do is just Control Z and undo it. So that's why I was doing that. So I basically select the color I need down here, and then I just do that real quick, and donezo. So now I can start painting this in. You know, I'm going to set this to 4, make it a little easier. Now, depending on how much detail I want, that'll actually be the determining factor if I'm going to create multiple layers or not. In this case, I'm not really too concerned about it. But one example would be like right here. If I were to create another layer and move this one right above it, then I could literally set this to 8 and just paint everything in here like so. And I'll go ahead and do it for this one, but generally I don't work like this because if you have more than one layer, it can get really chaotic very quickly, especially if you're trying to rotate those layers. Oh, by the way, classmates, I did find a way to actually rotate it without losing too much of its resolution. So that's cool. Come down in here. I'm just going to paint that in real quick. I just realized something. I didn't do shading to his little skirt. I'll have to go back and fix that. What color were those? Those are kind of like an orange color. And also, he doesn't have a tail. Do I really want to add a tail? No, I do not. Will I add the tail? Yes, I will, because that is part of the character design. One thing I want to really, really stress on is if it is part of the character, whether you want to do it, whether you don't want to do it anyways. I cannot stress that enough. Because as an artist, now me, I'm one of the game designers on this project. However, as an artist, these spikes, for example, you don't know if he's actually going to use those or not. And so it could be something as simple as, oh, well, oops. Oh, Jimmy, how dare you. I had the wrong layer selected, guys. Well, that's really going to bite me in the butt, ain't it? Yes, it is. I'm going to turn those off. Oh, that's because I don't have his tail in there yet. Yeah. Oh, no, I put those on the right layer. Good. Okay, so as I was saying, in this case, it's spikes. You don't know if the game designers have already gone in and created something like, I don't know, like he curls up into a ball and he starts spinning and he destroys everything in his path. You, as an artist, have no idea what their intentions are. And so, even though it seems like, oh, it's just unnecessary detail, this does two things for you. One, it shows that as an artist, you're willing to go above and beyond. And two, should they need those, you've already included them. Now, I'm sure for the students at Full Sail, they've already taught you that, where it's kind of like, hey, you already know that this is what the designers need. This is what you need to make. Make sure it has this included. I'm about 90% sure they have taught you that. I'd be really shocked if they hadn't. Or at least taught you something similar to that. Some kind of way of communicating. I guess is what I'm trying to say. So yeah. And if you're wondering why I'm even bringing that up, because you're all like, oh, we're Full Sail students, we already know this. I'm sure you do. Even if this is like someone at a major game studio watching this, you're probably thinking, well, yeah, this is something that, we expect of all of our workers. I'm about 90% sure you do. 95%, 99%. Heck, I'm almost 100%. However, there might be another person that's just watching this wondering, what did these guys go through whenever they made this? Just out of curiosity. This is more so for them. So this way, if they're watching this, they can be like, oh, wow, he actually went through and actually animated all of that stuff. That's actually really neat. Gonna choose a color for his eye. There we go. Beautiful. Alright, arm front. That is good. I think that is actually it as far as... Oh, nope. So his arm front is actually missing some detail. So I'm going to come in here real quick. I'm going to add it in. And also I don't have the shading on it either, so I need to add that in as well. So the way I'm setting the light is coming in this way. Hence why all the shadows are on the bottom. And also all the shadows are on this side, or as you see right here, they're on this back side. That's why. So that's where I'm going to add the shadows. Because lol. Alright, now that's getting a little close to the arm lower. In fact, I'm sure I'm scraping through the arm lower. So that's something that I really need to be mindful of. I'm just going to go right about there and connect that. Connect that. Connect that. There we go. And then for the arm lower, I'm going to come through here. Paint in right there, right there. There we go. And maybe a little bit right there. Alright, now lastly, the head. There's also another trick you can do. So if you're having trouble, like I don't know what color I can select, just select black. You'll create a new layer above what you already have. Set the opacity to like 35-40%. And just start painting. So that's the other way you can do it. So let's see, lights coming in here. I'm going to have just a little bit of an edge right here. And then right here is where I come in and taper that off. There we go. And so you can already see that just having an opacity layer like that, I'm just able to come through here and real easily create the shadow that I need. So there we go. And so now is what I need to do is collapse this. I need to click on leg front, duplicate that, and you actually need to bring it below leg front because this will be leg rear. You're probably like, hey, Jimmy, I can't see anything. Can you see something now? So I just need to bring this over. So this actually needs to rotate just a little bit. Not a problem. Now before, as I was saying, hey guys, I finally found a way to do it. I still get a little bit of loss in here, a little bit of pixelation. I just had to make sure that this was set to bicubic. There's also nearest neighbor and B-spline. I found that bicubic seems to work the best. So there's that. The last thing I'm going to do is select all of these. I'm going to group all of these. I'm going to call this reference. And so now our rig setup is basically done. I can move this guy any way I want. I can move any of these joints. I say joints. I know this isn't Spline Creator or whatever, and this definitely isn't inside of Unity where it's like I have actual joints or bones, but I can still move them however I want. That's the basic principle I'm trying to say. So that's going to do it for this video, which is part 1. Part 2 is where I show you where I set up all the groups to start animating. So I will see y'all there.